Hey guys, welcome back to Wrangling Rutherfords. I'm Farah and it is mid-July and I have yet to do a July garden tour. So that's what we're going to do this evening. I'm going to take you around and just show you what the garden looks like in its current state. So I am attempting to grow a vegetable garden and flowers too here in the Midlands of South Carolina in Batesburg, Leesville. I'm zone 8A and I'm gardening in 2 spaces. I have some raised beds here in my backyard in my neighborhood. That's where we are currently. And then I also have a large space over on my parents' land that's 50 by 50 feet. And we're growing a lot of vegetables there this year. It's really a learning process for me. I've never grown on this scale before, and some of these things I've never grown before at all. But I wanted to push myself to do something new and to learn. Hey bud, you say hi?
Hi.
That's my son Micah. Anyway, I wanted to push myself to learn some new skills, to learn to grow some new things, and I'd like to learn how to ultimately grow enough food to support the majority of the food needs for our family. So I'm not anywhere close to that yet. I'm still a baby gardener, for lack of better words. Anyway, Micah is picking up that little kid's car for me. This is the current state of my backyard, what we have going on here. I have some various pots here along this side with 2 raised beds that my husband built for me. So let me show you what we have going on there. Hey Ace. Hey buddy. So this is the Aunt Molly's ground cherry. This is new to me this year. I didn't even know plants like this existed until I found a YouTube channel that showed me all about them. But these are in the tomatillo family. They grow in these little husk-shaped or lantern-shaped husks, and inside are these sweet little berries. The kids have really come to enjoy these and cucamelons. Every time I go out to the garden, the kids are always trying to see who could find the ripe cucamelons and the ripe little ground cherry. So it's a fun treat for them. They're really sweet. What are you doing?
Touching the top of the tree house.
Okay, be careful. So here beside the ground cherry, I have a pot with a few sunflowers in it. I just wanted to see how that would work, growing sunflowers in a pot. There's probably too many in there, but we're just gonna leave it. It is what it is. A few little various flowers here, and I wanted to show you guys this. This is a pot of black nebula carrots, and they never really produced good carrot roots for me. It bolted and went to flower. But on here, I noticed the other day is I have a few little caterpillar friends. There we go. I believe this is a swallowtail butterfly caterpillar, and carrots can be host plants for them. So I have 3 on here actually, and I'm going to leave those guys to see if we can watch them turn into butterflies. And in these large grow bags, I was growing potatoes in them, but I harvested all those potatoes, and now I put some zinnia seeds and sunflower seeds just to have some more color. I've been really loving the zinnias this year. In this bed, this is just a mixture of different peppers, tomatoes, marigolds, and a little basil plant here, a little lettuce leaf basil. I've been happy with that. This is a parsley that he doesn't like this spot. I don't know what's gone on with him. These marigolds have gotten really huge, actually. I did not realize those marigolds would get that big. My son actually started those from seeds. Here we have a Dr. Witchy's tomato, or Dr. Weish's. These are actually on the small side. They usually get bigger than that. Here we have some Paul Robeson tomatoes. I'm gonna have to pick him tonight for dinner. Here we have another pretty Paul Robeson tomato. And then these are Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes. I just really think these tomatoes are so pretty. This plant is actually pretty loaded. I don't know if you can tell. There's quite a few on there. And here are the peppers in the front. This is just assorted some different peppers that I had left over from the big garden. These are some poblano peppers here. This is actually a purple Zulu pepper. These are some really big, good-looking California wonders that I should probably pick soon. And this is a shishito pepper. I really probably should have staked these a little better, provided them with some better support. They're kind of flopping over, but it is what it is. I'm okay with it. Over here in this raised bed are just a bunch of zinnias that overtook everything, and honestly, I'm kind of here for it. Like, I just really love the zinnias. They attract so many pollinators and they just make me really happy. This is another grow bag that my daughter wanted to use as her own little personal garden, and I told her she could plant whatever she wanted to in this grow bag, and she chose to plant a squash. I have a little baby fruit. This is a white scallop or white patty pan squash. We've had a lot of those this year in the big garden. She really enjoys that. Back in amongst these zinnias are two more tomato plants and a pretty butterfly that are back there. And I've had some various basil. This is this purple opal basil that I really love. I'm just trying to go to seed. I need to come back and prune this a little more. Some more lettuce leaf basil. And over here in this corner are some herbs as well. There's a sage that I grew from seed, a little thyme, some more different basils, and okra. This is red Alabama okra. And that is what the okra pod looks like right there. And I know this space is just kind of too crowded for everything to truly thrive, but I really like the way it looks, kind of wild. Oh, look at this guy. I did not see him until now. Look at that. That's really cool. Is that I honestly forgot the name of that type of spider. I know it's a garden spider, and I know it's good for the garden, but I forgot the name of him. I'll have to look him up. I'm just gonna hold on to this a while and smell it. Basil smells so good. So back here behind me, I have my big giant hydrangea. Its blooms have really kind of faded for this season. It's got one bloom on there that I'll show you, but I just really love that. The crepe myrtle above it, this is a white crepe myrtle tree, is actually doing really nice this year. This is a endless summer hydrangea, and down below it here is a little limelight hydrangea, and it's kind of tipped over, but the blooms are so pretty on it. Anyway, I really should stake this, find some support for it, but these blooms are just so gorgeous, and they bloom later in the season compared to the other hydrangeas. This poor thing has been cut down accidentally so many times, and despite that, it keeps coming back and getting bigger. So there you have it. That's kind of my wild, overgrown backyard, complete with kids' bicycles. But let's take you around to the side of the house where I have some rose bushes. Alright, so don't judge me too much. I've kind of neglected this side of the house just to focus more attention on the big garden and the vegetables. But behind me I have some rose bushes that have been given to me over the years, and I planted some dahlias as well. So these are in need of a good bit of maintenance, so I apologize for that. But this is Granny Bingham's rose that's growing on a trellis here that has just exploded and is trying to come across the side of the house now. We're really going to have to prune her back a little bit. This needs deadheading, something terrible, but this is a Origold yellow rose that we bought this spring. Yeah, we just need to deadhead. This is a red little miniature rose. Don't you love it when you find a good bargain? This is actually a pink pig crepe myrtle tree, and I got this off of the clearance rack at Tractor Supply, and I only paid $2.44 for it, and a 2-gallon pot crepe myrtle. This is a mid-size one. It says it grows about 6 feet by 5 feet. I'm not sure where I want to put that yet. I'll probably up pot it into a larger pot until I figure out where I want to put it, but I really like finding a bargain. Okay, so these I showed these on some previous videos. This is the side of the house where I planted a bunch of dahlias and zinnias and cosmos. The cosmos mostly fizzled out. The zinnias have really started to look nice, except I learned very quickly that I need to support these and stake these. We've had several heavy rainstorms here recently over the last few weeks, and every time I come out, there's another plant that's been snapped at the base. So this stem has snapped right here, and actually everything is still green and pretty and blooming on it, but it's going to die here before too long. Same with these dahlias. I tried to stake it, but it just wasn't a very secure job. I need to do better, and so many of them have snapped and bent over. However, the dahlia blooms themselves are beautiful. I just learned really quickly that's something I need to prove on for next year. So I'm going to take you around to the front of the house here, and I still have my little temporary portable greenhouse up. I said in some of other videos a few months ago that I was going to take it down for the summer, and I keep finding things to stick inside of it. I'm using it mostly as just a shelving system to start seeds because they really don't need a greenhouse. I just need a place to put them where they can get adequate sun. And it's turned out to be a good place to do that. So before we show you the greenhouse, I just wanted to look at these dahlias here. So this is my first year growing dahlias, and I will say I'm pretty hooked. All right, so here on the front of the house, I have 2 window boxes that have sweet potato vine and petunias in them. I think those are bubblegum vista petunias. There's just a snake plant, and this is actually a pineapple plant that I grew probably like 2 years ago from a pineapple cutting. I would love to see it actually bloom and make a pineapple one day, but not yet. So here in the greenhouse, I apologize, it's a little junky. I keep finding things to store in here. These are some seedlings my mom asked me to start for her. We have some Shasta daisies. The echinacea, really only one of those sprouted. This is coreopsis, and then some assorted hollyhocks. My daughter is growing these seedlings. These are little bluebells. I really need to learn more about these. I'm not sure what season is the best for those, or if they need sun or shade. She just found a packet of seeds that she really wanted to grow, and so this is kind of her little project. She's planting them, but I really need to find out some more information and help her along. This is some echinacea seeds that a friend sent me, green twisted echinacea, and I've planted tons of these seeds and I cannot get them to sprout very well. These are the only 2 that have sprouted, so I'm just kind of babying those. And then these are actually strawberries that I started from seed. We have a strawberry farm local to us, and I actually just dried that strawberry out and scraped seeds off of it and put them in the freezer for a month to cold stratify them, and they sprouted. I'm kind of excited about that. I need to separate these out soon so they have some space to grow, but it's my little just experimental project there. And these, I shouldn't even show you this. I think I'm just going to put these in the compost. These are just plants that I don't need. I grew too many of them. I don't have the space for them. These are all golden berries that I grew out of an actual golden berry fruit that we bought at the grocery store. Anyway, these are going to the compost soon. And out here on my porch, these are just my little project plants. I actually have a fiddle leaf fig that I've been working on. I've had this for about 2 years now, I guess, and it's grown tremendously. And then this is a new little gift that my sister gave me. This is a string of pearls sedum. When I got this, the longest was right at the base of this pot, and now it strings all the way down here, so it's grown a lot. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for what I have growing here in my backyard in my neighborhood. So I'll take you out to the big garden and show you what's growing there. But here, I'll show you this dahlia real quick. This is another one of my dahlias that I grew, and because I didn't stake it well, it was broken off. So I just broke the stem, and I'm going to take it in and put in some water. But like I showed you, I just really love how these look. If I'm real honest, I did not even know that dahlias were a thing until last year. And I was researching all on YouTube about how to grow vegetables in a vegetable garden, because my previous year's garden was I say it's a failure. Maybe I should be kinder to myself, but it did not go as planned. I'll put it that way. And I was looking for information about how to do things better, which is kind of what led me to do all the things I'm doing this year. But in the midst of watching all those videos, I discovered dahlias, and yeah, dahlias will always be a thing in my garden from here on out. Okay guys, I'm back here in this is my big no-dig garden that I built this year from the ground up using no-dig gardening methods. Again, like I've said before, I'm learning at all this, I'm figuring things out, and we definitely have had some hiccups as we've gone along, but I mean, look at that. Look at that corn back there. Things are going good. I'm really happy with it. And I can't wait to show you. Okay guys, so in this garden I have 8 beds that are 3 foot by 46 feet. And here we have tomatoes, and there are 8 more beds in total. The garden's kind of wild right now, but I'm really loving it. So let's just start here on this end. This cattle panel trellis here, those are cherry tomatoes with a few slicers down on the end of it. But these cherry tomatoes have done really well. Here is a little red cherry tomato. I really don't know the variety of this one. It was just a random old package of seeds that I had. This is my Heather's Mystery Tomato, and I have been looking forward to this. Here's another close-up of it. Okay, so Heather's Mystery Tomato. My friend Heather sent me these seeds. She's a friend from college, and I actually saw her last month for her 40th birthday party. And the first thing that she asked me was, tell me about your tomatoes. And at that time, they weren't quite ripe yet. When I came home the next week, that they were. But anyway, she revealed to me that these are Hartman's Yellow Gooseberry cherry tomatoes from Baker Creek. And she said that her boys love these and she wanted to share them with my kids. And so far, we have really enjoyed them. So thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. So the rest of the cherry tomatoes are doing really well. We have these red cherries, my Heather's Mystery Tomato, these Brad's Atomic Grape. Those are actually doing really well. I've been happy with how those look. I have noticed that some of them have been splitting, but we have received large amounts of rain here lately. These are blueberry tomatoes. They also have done really well. As you can see, they're super tall and are just very heavy laden with fruit. Here they are, coming out over here. So blueberries are a variety from Wild Boar Farms, but I actually bought them off of Baker Creek's website. And my understanding is that they were supposed to turn red when they're ripe. But these guys have been turning yellow instead when they are ripe, yellow with the purple shoulders. So I'm pretty sure that these are actually the gold cream berries, which is a very similar variety, just yellow instead of red. So maybe a mix-up with the seed packaging, I don't know. But either way, I've been very happy with them. They're excellent plants, and I really like the fruit. This is a Better Boy tomato. This is a Cherokee Purple that is making a comeback, but it got stripped by a tomato worm. But it did have a little bit left on the top, and I was able to get rid of the worms with some BT, and it's slowly coming back. And here is what is this one? Oh, Brandywine. These are Brandywine tomatoes. They're looking great. If I back up and show you the peppers that are going all down this line, here are some Zulu peppers here. These are some peppers that I bought from Home Depot. These are Mad Hatter peppers. They're just really funky shaped. I have some really cute little mini bell peppers. These are some sweet long peppers, some banana peppers, and here are some California Wonder bell peppers that are looking good. There's a nice one there. And if I keep going down this bed, here's a pepper that needs staking. Get back up there, buddy. This is a poblano pepper on this side. We're gonna have to get him a stake. Anyway, if I keep going down this line, this is glass gem corn here that I planted, and it is looking fabulous, just now starting to tassel. Down here, these are actually some of those same plants that I showed you in the greenhouse, the golden berry plants that I grew from a seed that I obtained from the actual fruit that I bought at the grocery store. There we go. Even though I planted these later in the season, I have my first little buds, my first little blooms that are about to come. This is a volunteer squash plant that actually started growing out of the strawberry patch there, and it's getting some powdery mildew, but it appears to be some type of spaghetti squash cross, and I was curious as to what it was, so I just left it there. So that's the end of this row here. Here, we'll go down this row. This is the trellis that has all of my paste tomatoes on it. I did have one tomato on this end that died. It got topped. This is it actually right here. But beside it, a little volunteer cucumber grew, and it's just taken over this edge of the trellis. And honestly, it's the best cucumber that I have growing so far. My cucumbers have struggled greatly this year. This one so far, although it does have some pests on it, this one so far is doing by far the best out of all of them. So this tomato trellis has dahlias on the other side, and they have been poking through and looking lovely, but they have been pretty laden with Hungarian heart tomatoes. Here's a Hungarian heart that is almost ready to pick. I do love how they're heart-shaped. This one not as much as some of the others, but they're really nice. Here's a good example of the heart shape that it has. And then down here we have Amish paste tomatoes. So I've been freezing these. When I pick them ripe and get a good batch of them, I've been freezing them in anticipation of canning them. So I've never canned tomatoes before. It's one of the things that I want to learn and want to teach myself this summer. So I've heard several people say that if you take the tomatoes when they're ripe, if you want to save them to create a big batch, you can actually clean them, cut the stem out, core the hard core out of the middle, and make a score on the skin on the bottom side of the tomato, and you can actually freeze them whole. And then once you're ready to start canning, you can thaw them out and the skins will slip off. I've not tried that yet, but I do have 4 gallons of tomatoes in the freezer right now waiting for when I'm ready to start canning. So hopefully that trick works. We'll see. Again, I need to figure out staking these things better, but look at that beautiful dahlia peeking through. Isn't that pretty? Here is a borage plant. These blue blooms on it are great for pollinators. And it's really attracted the bees, but it grew so big that it flopped over, and I didn't realize that it would need support as well. So I'll know that for next year. This is a little trellis I made that is all cucamelons, and the cucamelons have just covered it. Cucamelons are these tiny little cucumbers. Some people call them Mexican sour gherkins or mouse melons. The kids really love eating these. Here we have another ground cherry with lots of ripe fruit on it. Here on this trellis are all my slicer tomatoes, another 16-foot cattle panel trellis. Here is Dr. Witchy's or Dr. Weish's, however you pronounce that. My first year growing these, but I've been really happy with those. They look beautiful. Here we have some black beauties that aren't quite ripe yet. Here's a black beauty that is ripe. That's how it turns red on the bottom and has these beautiful purple shoulders. This one has a little bit of cracking, but it's going to be delicious. Oh, look at that beauty. There's another Dr. Witchy's tomato. It's pretty big. It's as big as my hand. And then on down the line, I have some more black beauties here. Here's another ripe one that needs to be picked. And I don't see any ripe Paul Robesons, but here's a Paul Robeson growing here that will ripen soon. Let me show you this one. I only have one of these, but this is a large barred boar tomato. Again, another Wild Boar Farms variety. And this one is just starting to blush, starting to become ripe. These beautiful striped tomatoes, I have really enjoyed those as well. I think I will definitely add some more varieties that are striped like this to the garden next year. Also, this marigold has really taken off. I know I mentioned that at the ones that I have in my backyard, but I really had no idea that these would get this bushy. I just love the way they look tucked up under the tomato plants. Back here we have a row of hot peppers, or not super hot, but peppers with a little bit of heat. This is actually a jalapeno. It's a jalapeno pepper there. These are variegated peppers called fish peppers. The leaves are variegated, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little variegated stripe on that pepper there. The peppers themselves are actually variegated. There's a better example of it, of the variegated peppers. So I have about 3 fish pepper plants. Here are some shishito peppers. Wow, that one's pretty loaded. I have to pick some of those. Here is a beautiful Zulu pepper. Ooh, that was a pepper something ate. We should probably pick you 2. Some more shishitos. I've been really happy with how well these have produced. Another shishito that's laying down. Oh, and these. So I'm very excited about these. These are Alma paprika peppers. So I don't know what the deal was, but it took me forever to get my Alma paprika pepper seeds to germinate early this spring. Like, I really didn't think any of them would germinate. I planted 3 times. I planted the entire seed packet, and I only had 3 seedlings germinate. 2 of those have done really well, and you saw those beautiful golden peppers. They will ripen to a red color, and those I actually plan to dry out and make my own paprika. So we'll see how that works. And look at this. Is that not the coolest? I don't know, like, this spot really makes me happy. I love this trellis. These are red Chinese noodle beans. Again, I discovered them watching YouTube channels, trying to learn more about gardening, and I wanted to try them for myself, and they have not disappointed. All right, so as we walk through the red noodle bean trellis, that's so fun for me. All right, down here we have some different green, these are just green bush beans. I have picked gallons and gallons of beans. Here on this side we have squash, mostly black beauty zucchini and yellow patty pan squash on this side, and they have just been ravaged by squash bugs and powdery mildew. Here's a few that we can pick tonight before we go home. These are yellow patty pan. You can see as they grow how they make these long vines. I keep expecting them to die back any day now because they're just really kind of past their prime and starting to fade away. But every time I come out here, they're still kicking out some new fruit. And here is a zucchini to prove it. Not too bad. All right, down past the squash, I just have a few random marigolds. So this is a trellis that has disappointed. As you can see, here's a cucumber. I tried to plant pickling cucumbers on this trellis. First of all, the plants look diseased. I'm not sure if this is some kind of like cucumber mosaic virus or what it is, or if it's just some type of fungus. I really don't know. But it will put off some little cucumbers that just end up wilting and dying. The plant has been eaten multiple times by deer, so that has not helped it at all. But the part of the plant that hasn't been eaten has just been ravaged with disease, and they've died back. I have planted new seeds multiple times, and they're just not growing. Same thing on this end. I actually pulled up the plant and planted more seeds, and I planted seeds on that end, in the middle, and on that end. And the only one that's growing is the one here in the middle, and it looks pretty pitiful. It has just not been my year for cucumbers, but I'm gonna keep trying. Here we have another massive ground cherry plant. This is one plant that's like, it's probably like 4.5 by 4.5 feet. But it just keeps cranking out the ground cherries left and right. And down here on this end, these are peanuts. I have never grown peanuts before. I have never seen peanuts grown before. But I had a blank spot in my garden and I wanted to try it out. Oh look, this is new. This was not here the other day. See that? Those are little blooms. It's gonna flower soon. So I've never seen peanuts grown before, but I really wanted to try them out. Just like I said, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can about growing different types of food. And I planted them about 6 weeks ago, I guess. I'm excited to see just what they do. I'm not expecting a giant harvest or anything like that, just more of a learning experience. But if they do well, I will definitely grow them again in the future. Okay, down here, we have 2 rows that have okra going through the inside edges, and on the outside edges, sunflowers. Look at that beautiful guy up there. It's a big mammoth sunflower. A lot of these sunflowers just came out of a variety pack of multiple different kinds, so I don't know the names of all of them, but they all look very nice. So here are some okra plants that I've been working on. Here is some more of that Alabama red okra. There's a nice specimen there. I'm hoping to make some fried okra by the end of the week. Anyway, I have a whole row of Alabama red okra here. And on the other side, these sunflowers, look at these. It's dark orange, amber color with these like golden stripes on the back side. This big, massive sunflower here with its drooping head. Isn't that lovely? Okay, I'm just gonna continue to show you more sunflowers because I'm just really loving it. All the bees on them. Here's another big head. So this is kind of just the reverse look down that row. All the okra, sunflowers. This green heavy hitter okra and Clemson spineless okra on that side with more just like smaller branching varieties of sunflowers. I just wanted to show you an example of the Clemson spineless okra as it's growing. Okay, on down the line here we have some more zinnias. A marigold that's been knocked over. We've had so many storms lately. Another ground cherry that's massive. Oh gosh, I didn't see that. I totally missed this one. Look at this guy. It's massive. So this is too far gone to be edible. I'll probably give this to the chickens because once they get this big, they get spongy, but I was just out here 2 days ago and I missed him. So let me get you back to this trellis here. This is my Kajari melons. This little personal size melon. Here's a slightly bigger specimen. That's a branch. You need to get up on the trellis, friend. And we have a few more melons on this side here. There's another one. Again, bush beans on this side, more bush beans on this side. I have picked so many bush beans that honestly, I'm getting a little overwhelmed with the beans at this point. These are dragon tongues. So these are dragon tongue beans. This bean is really too big to be edible at this point. It's gone a little too far. It's gonna be tough, but I love the purple striping of them. All right, so this big gnarly bean is really past its prime. It's too tough, too big to eat. If I left it on the plant, I could let it dry out so I could save seeds. But this is a slightly smaller version. This is a dragon tongue bean that is in the prime, ready to eat. This is a good size to pick them. Maybe slightly bigger than this, but if you pick them young, they're more tender. And a lot of these have just gotten past me, have gotten too big. I'm just gonna end up leaving several of them on the plants to dry for seed. But I do have quite a bit of frozen green beans in the freezer. And look at this guy right here. This is Kentucky pole beans. Look at that. That's a big one here. Again, too big to eat. This is the size you want to pick them at. Can you see the size difference there? I'm trying to get my camera to focus here. A Kentucky pole bean that's too big and one that is the right size for eating. It still fascinates me how fast these things grow. I've been really happy with this variety. I think I'll grow it again next year. They produce these nice long straight pods. And down here on this aisle we have more squash that has just overtaken the walkway here. You can barely walk. But these are a white patty pan variety. And down here we have yellow crooknecks. Again, they've just been ravaged by squash bugs and powdery mildew, and we've had so much squash come off of them. Here we go. Here's a great example. There is a white patty pan squash. Kind of look like little spaceships. Anyway, we have had such a high yield of squash this year, which I'm thankful for that. We've just had so many that I'm almost kind of tired of eating it right now. I may throw in a few seeds after I pull these up just to get one more round of squash in before the end of the year. But I won't plant nearly as many the second time around. Anyway, there's a view of that wildness from this angle. The wild squash, the Kentucky pole beans, the Kajari melons, and these beautiful zinnias here. These are red zinnias. These are Parks Pick zinnia varieties from Park Seed. Those are gorgeous. Down here we have some more sunflowers. You just can't have enough. These are teddy bear sunflowers. Aren't those lovely? These little fuzzy, beautiful sunflowers. The bees love them. Down this row we have corn. This is Silver Queen corn that I planted with my son, and it has done really well. We've picked off of these many times and I keep finding ripe ones. This one's probably ready to pick right now. We're gonna go ahead and do that. I thought I'd try to shuck this with one hand, but it's proving to be a lot harder than I anticipated. So hold on just a second. So this is supposed to be a Silver Queen corn. And to my knowledge, Silver Queen corn is all white. It's an all white corn. However, I don't know if you can tell, this is a bicolored corn. Now I did plant peaches and cream corn, but I purposely planted it 2 or 3 weeks after the Silver Queen. So the Silver Queen is the all white corn, peaches and cream is a bicolored corn. This is definitely off of the Silver Queen row that I planted, but I'm beginning to wonder that even though I planted them 2 to 3 weeks apart, if they did cross-pollinate. I don't know. I need to learn more information on this. If anybody knows, help me out. If a white corn cross-pollinates with a bicolored corn in its active growing season right now, does it result in this? Or is there a seed mix-up from where I purchased my seeds? Either way, it's delicious corn. I love it. It's very sweet. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just trying to learn more about how these things grow so I know better. Isn't that pretty? I've been so happy with the corn this year. Back to this. We have Silver Queen corn on this side, peaches and cream corn on this side, and the last row is melons and sweet potatoes. Let me turn you around. Aren't those rows of corn pretty? So this is a sad looking spot of the garden. This once was a spaghetti squash vine Actually, the spaghetti squash vine is beginning to die back. It has died back. I need to pick that last fruit there. But before it died, I did pick 14 big size spaghetti squash off of it. There's another one I need to pick. And another one. Here are some sweet potato vines. Beauregard sweet potatoes that I ordered from Urban Farms. They have been doing pretty well, except for the fact that deer love to eat them. They always come to this side. I don't know if you can tell all these little tops that have been eaten off here. Here's some new growth where they've tried to recover. But I've had to spray these with deer repellent quite a few times. Here's a better section where the deer have been eating them and they're trying desperately to recover. So I just need to stay on top of the deer repellent with those. And last but not least, here we have the last row of melons with big mammoth sunflowers growing up in the middle of them. These are Charleston Gray watermelons. Several more Charleston Grays here. Really, I've gotten a lot. There's a lot of melons on this vine. This is a Georgia rattlesnake melon growing up next to it. Here's another nice Georgia rattlesnake. Here is a moon and stars. Or wait, no, I lied. This is a sugar baby. Sugar baby watermelon there. A big weed. Let's get rid of that guy. Another Georgia rattlesnake. Here we go. Here's a moon and stars. So moon and stars is a variegated type of watermelon that have big dots. This is a small one, but a big dot that represents the moon and a lot of little speckled ones that represent the stars. Here's another example. This one's mostly stars and no moons. I think I have one that's got a moon on it. Where did that go? Okay, guys. In trying to shoot this film, like a crazy person, decided it was a good idea to stick cherry tomatoes in my pocket. Now, I have a pocket full of seeds and juice. That was dumb. Note to self, don't put cherry tomatoes in your pockets. Anyway, I found the watermelon that I was looking for. Here we go, guys. This is what moon and stars is supposed to look like. A bigger dot to represent the moon. Hi, Randy. And smaller dots to represent the stars. So that is what that is. These are some passion melons that I got from Baker Creek. Quite a few there. And then I have a Hale's Best cantaloupe. I thought it'd be fun in amongst the watermelons to plant all these giant mammoth sunflowers. And I'm really loving the way that that has worked out. And I told you last but not least that that was our last row, but I forgot that we planted a whole nother row of corn down here. So the vast majority, this whole big garden that I just showed you, it is all a no-dig garden. But we decided kind of spur of the moment that we wanted to try to get another row of corn in the ground just because I've been really happy with the corn that we've grown so far this year. And we wanted to see if we could get another planting in before the end of the season. So about 10 days ago, William and I actually tilled up one more section out here on the back side of the garden and just planted corn seeds. And it's literally been 10 days, maybe less. And this is how much it's grown. I'm just shocked at how fast it grows in the summer heat. Look at this massive sunflower hanging down. It's huge. Like that sunflower is, it's probably at least 10 inches wide. Anyway, another beautiful sunflower there. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the garden for this tour. I had to taste test my corn. It's pretty good. So this is the garden tour for July. This is where we are at now. This is how things are looking. We have a lot of stuff that we've already harvested, a lot of things that are coming to harvest soon, and I've just really been enjoying it this year. So thanks for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.